How's it going, guys? I'm Jack and welcome back to Good Company. Today we'll be doing a new tutorial. In this video I'll be showing you some really useful tips and tricks for using conveyor belts. As we all know, conveyor belts really don't work how they should, and I know the developers are working on updates to improve the functionality, but for now these tips should really help you out. So I originally saw these tips on the Good Company subreddit, and I'll link the original videos down in the description, but I thought I'd just consolidate them all into one video and also add a few tips of my own. If you do enjoy city building, simulation and management games, be sure to subscribe and also hit the like button, as it really does help out. So let's get into it. The first tip we're going to look at is definitely the most useful and will stop conveyor belts backing up and grinding to a halt. As you know, if you try and move more than one type of material, component or module down the same conveyor belt, everything just stops. So this system's really gonna sort that out. So we're gonna move these raw materials from the incoming zone over to this building here. As you can see, this doesn't actually have an incoming zone, so this is probably the best way to move materials over, apart from just getting a logistics worker to just pick it up and move it. So we're gonna start off with a big shelving rack, and we'll whack that down there, and we'll link up all of these to that shelf. While we're at it as well, we do need to change a few logistics slots around, so we're going to give those 2 extra. Well, we're going to give everything 2 extra, just so there's a lot of space on the shelf for them materials. Next thing we need to do is use a conveyor belt, so that would be very useful, wouldn't it? So let's whack that down like that and bring it over to here with a roller band on the end, and we also need another big shelf over here. We'll put that there. So from this roller band, oh no, we need to link up this first. So all of these materials are going to be sent over to here, so let's link up those to there, just like that, and then from here everything's going to go onto this shelf. So link up like that. And again, we'll put the logistics slots up for these guys, just so there's a lot of space on that shelf. So basically, this shelf here is going to act like a fake incoming zone. So you could use this to have a logistics point next to this shelf and move materials to different points of the building, just using workers after this. So it's very useful. So next thing we need to do is get more conveyor belts out, and we're going to start a conveyor belt back into the original room, and we're going to put another roller band at the end there. So next thing, we need to take these materials on the roller band and also link them up to the conveyor belt going back. So we do that. And while we're at it, we need to change priorities as well. So we want stuff to go onto the shelf mainly, so we put priority up on that, and then the conveyor belt, we want not as many going on there, so we want to decrease priority for that. So we'll do that for every single one of those, just like that. Absolutely fantastic. And next thing we need to do is come back down here, and again we need to link up logistics here. So we want stuff to go onto the shelf, so we'll link up all of those, but also we want stuff to go back onto this roller, onto this conveyor belt. And again, we need to change priorities. So we need to put priority up onto the one going to the conveyor belt, and then priority down going to the shelf. So I'll do that for all of those. Just like that. Absolutely amazing. We'll get we'll hire a few logistics people for that and for that as well. Let's hire 2 for there and 2 for there. So so basically how it works. Conveyor belt, the materials will go down that conveyor belt there. If there is space on the shelf, it will go onto the shelf. If there is no space for it, then it should be put back onto this conveyor belt and not block up this roller band here. And then the same here. If there is space on the conveyor belt going back up this way, it will be put back on this conveyor belt. Otherwise, it will just go back on the shelf to be stored. And this should all just work out. So we'll let it run for a little bit and see how it goes. But yeah, if this is really useful. Like I said, if you've ever used conveyor belts and tried to send more than one type of material down the conveyor belt, then it just doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So this is definitely the best way to do it at the moment. Like I said, the developers are like working on changes and updates to the conveyor belt systems, so that's all good. But for now, this is probably the best way to do it. So yeah, like as you can see, we've got stuff stacking up nicely on here. So as you can see, look, the electronic parts and plastic parts have all filled up the logistics slots, so they are getting sent back down this side over to here, and they go in like a loop until you get other stuff being sent down, and it doesn't block up this shelf here. So it does take a little while to get everything like on this shelf. However, it will eventually work out. If you do want to as well, just to like prime the system, you could literally go over here, pick up some like wood or something that we need, and then just put it onto the conveyor belt yourself, and that will get stuff into the system. So yeah, that's the first tip, and like I said, it's very useful. So yeah, let's move on to the second tip. So the second tip is really useful as well. You can actually combine stacks of materials or components up on the conveyor belt. So what we're going to do now is set up this. So we've got plastic cases going onto there. I'm just going to put a logistics point down for that. Hire someone on there. So yeah, these guys are going to move the plastic cases over to that end. As you can see, it's all backed up. So what you do is you just place down another little bit of conveyor belt here. If you then change the logistics, so we get that off like that, and put it onto the new conveyor belt, it's going to stack up. As you can see, they combine, so there's now 3 on there, and that's just going to keep stacking up. So that's going to help with it's going to help by not stopping this production worker like working. And when this blockage does clear, instead of a stack of 1 going down, you'll have like the maximum amount stacked here that you can get. So that's very useful as well. You can also combine this with tip number 3, and tip number 3 is you can have multiple inputs to the same conveyor belt. So as you can see, we've got, well, I've just put another conveyor belt down here, and this is very useful. I'm just quickly set up a little area like this. So I'm going to put another basic workbench down, making simple cases, hire someone on that. So I've got this going to the shelf here. I'm going to put that onto this conveyor belt, and put this one onto that conveyor belt there. Get the material, plastic from there. We'll delete that link, and we will quickly delete that as well. So yeah, this is useful for like just quick transportation of product. So we'll do that. So yeah, as you can see, if you set it up like this, they can literally just put it right onto the conveyor belt and don't have to walk to the end of a conveyor belt. And also it still stacks up like as many points as you've got incoming points. That makes no sense whatsoever. So as many entry points to the conveyor belts you have, that's how many stacks you can get going. So you've got a stack of 20 here. At the end you've got a stack of 2, but then at the here this is stacking up again, so it's another 20. And yeah, this is going to just help out. You can have as many as you want. So you could literally have a line of tables, each with their own input to the conveyor belt, and stuff coming out the end. So that's very useful as well. That's tip number 3. And tip number 4, if you want to organize your conveyor belts a little bit better, you can color code them. So just click on the conveyor belt, go up to this color picker here, and click on it, and it just changes the color of the conveyor belt, which is really useful for seeing where conveyor belts go and actually just organizing it in your brain. I don't think a lot of people know about that actually, being able to change the color of them. Again, that's really useful. So that's it guys, thank you for watching. If you did enjoy the video, remember to press the like button. Any questions, suggestions or comments, leave them down in the comment section below. If you do enjoy city building, simulation and management games like this, then be sure to subscribe, and also stay safe, have fun, and I'll see you on the next one.